Hey class, let's go over this M&M data and see what we can find. So here's the data that's in our Google documents. We're just going to move it into Excel real fast. You can actually do almost everything we're doing right here within Google Docs as well. It's gotten pretty good, but let's do it in Excel because that's what we're kind of doing everything else in. So I can hit Control A, which selects all, and say Control C, and then shift over to my Excel. Working here just a second. We'll copy. One more time. Control C. Maybe right click. Copy. Not making it so far. Paste. There we go. Alright, so let's kind of adjust this a little bit so that we can see it a little better. Let's make this top column a little bigger. And then I'm going to wrap all of these cells so that we can read them all. So I'm just going to hide them all. Click up here, click right, wrap cells, and then I'm going to kind of make them all just a little bit wider. Highlight them all, double click, and then it makes it a bit wider there to match the widest cell. Okay, a couple things. It actually has the data in kind of a different order. I'm going to move stuff around. So this is how much does M&M bags weigh, and then this is how many M&Ms were in your bag. I want those two right next to each other just because it'll be easier. So here we go. I'm going to insert right here, right click, click insert. And actually I can just drag this guy. Well, so Control X, there, Control V, and then I'm going to delete this guy. Okay, maybe. There we go, delete. Okay, so first things first, we want to find out the average. We want to find the average number of M&Ms, weight of bags, and then this other formula, weight minus expected weight. So let's actually first figure out what that means. What I mean by weight minus expected weight is I want to make a new column that actually gives us the difference between what you weighed, what you weighed your bag is, and what was expected. It should actually be expected minus weight. So expected weight minus actual. And by expected weight, I mean here's a bag of M&Ms that happens to be empty. I don't know how it got on my desk. Someone probably left it here. It wasn't me. Anyway, it has, as you can see right here, 47.9 grams. There you go. You got it. That's the expected weight for a bag of plain M&Ms. Peanut M&Ms, something else. Let's see. I have a giant stash of M&Ms over here. Just a second. Here it is. It is 49.3, so it's a little bit different. So let's actually add a couple columns up here in the top. Insert. Always have a stash of M&Ms in your office. Okay, so here's type, and then we'll put plain and peanut, and then expected weight. Expected. For the plain was, what was it? 47.9, 47.9, and for the peanut it was 49.3, 49.3. Alright, so now we have to find this expected weight minus actual weight. So it's pretty easy, right? So here we just start typing a formula equals. Here's your actual weight. We want to subtract from that the expected weight, right? So we have to find some expected weight. Well, there's two expected weights. So it actually becomes not so easy. We have to figure out whether or not we have plain M&Ms or peanut M&Ms. So how do we do this? Well, we could sort of sort the data and just do the plain peanut first and then the plain first, but that's no fun. So instead, we could do this little if statement, right? We say if this over here, it says peanut, then we want to subtract, this guy, this peanut. Oh, sorry, this one, 49.3. If it says plain, then we want to subtract 47.9. The problem is it doesn't say peanut. It says peanut, and then in brackets, yellow bag. Okay, so here's something kind of new that we haven't done before. You could do this what's called a left statement. There's also a right and a middle statement, and it will allow you to just look at a certain number of characters within a text field inside of a cell, right? So in this case, we'd say, okay, look, and the text would be right there. Look in this text, right? So here we go. Type in left, and then bracket text. The text is, what do you want me to look in? Well, I want you to look right in here. And then I want you to say how many characters in there from the leftmost. Well, I want you to look, I'm going to look for this plain right here. So that's actually 5 characters, right? P-L-A-I-N, 5 characters, right? 5 characters long. So read the first 5 characters. That's all that left says. And if that equals plain, right, equals what's in there, I'm going to hit F4, lock that in. Then what do I want it to do? Well, I want it to take this number, I'm going to hit F4, and then I want it to subtract this number right here, right? This guy right here. That's it. If that's not true, which means it's not plain, then what do I want it to do? Well, then I want it to say that take this peanut, because if it's not plain, it has to be peanut. There's only 2 choices, so I don't have to rewrite this left thing. Take that guy, I'm going to hit F4, lock that in, and I'm going to subtract from that this same number, right? So let's look at this whole thing. This is if left, so if left of this is going to be looking at the first 5 digits, first 5 digits starting from the left. If that equals what's in this cell, plain, then what do I want it to do? Comma, then I want it to take this number right here and subtract it from what was actual. So this is expected minus actual. If this doesn't equal plain, if the first 5 digits here don't equal plain, then it must be peanut. There's only 2 other choices. Then I want it to subtract this number minus this number, right? So let's see if this works. All right, so this one is negative 2.7. So let's see. Actually, I think I did it the other way wrong. So it's not expected. Expected weight minus actual. Did I do it the other way around? It should be positive, right? 52 is bigger than 47. So let's just do it the other way around. Sometimes, you know, my basic math needs some help. So D, it's not D2, it's D5 minus, there we go. And then this is the same thing, D5 minus, right, 2.7. All right, so let's just copy that down. Should be good to go. So just to be sure that this is actually working the way we want it to, we could change this, sort of all this junk, the if-then stuff, to just say, you know, if the first 5 digits equal peanut, then, or plain, put 1, otherwise put 0. Let's just see if this works. All right, so this first one is 0. And then here's our first plain. Sure enough, plain equals 1. Right, so it's going to change, you know, so I'm going to hit Control Z and undo what I just did, just because we had it right the first time. All right, so there's our new values. Cool. Expected weight minus actual weight. All right, so I'm going to go over here. I'm going to kind of start setting up what we want. We want plain, we want peanut, and then let's just do total. We'll start with, oops, total. And there's a couple things I want. I want what the weight of the bag. Oops. Weight of the bag. I want the first I want the number of, I screwed that up, right? Number of M&Ms is what I want first. Weight of the bag is what I want second, and then I want this expected minus weight minus actual. It's actually let's just not get tripped over that. It's actual minus expected. Anyway. So let's first do these totals. These are the easiest. So we want these all averages, right? All 3 of these should be averages. So it's like average. And by average, we really mean mean. That's what we want. We want the arithmetic mean there, right? So let's sort of put those together. That's what we want for these 3. All right, so let's do this one. The mean in Excel is just the formula, or the function for it is called equals average, right? Even though we already learned that the average could mean the median or it could be the mode as well. There is no mean function in Excel. Average is the mean, so that's okay. All right, so then we just go over here. We're going to first do how many M&Ms are in your bag. Highlight, Control Shift down, hit Enter. There's that one. So once we've done it there, we can hit copy, paste, hit F2, make sure it's working right. So if I hit F2, sure enough, it's moved over to how much does your M&M bag weigh. And then this one's, I could just copy it, watch this, and copy it and paste it. But what it's done is it's moved over here to this, how many blue M&Ms. That's not really what I want. I want it to be way over here, expected weight minus actual. Well, I can grab this little blue thing, right? So this little blue thing, I can grab it. If I hover just right next to it, I get from a plus to like this little cross thing, and then I can drag it. If I push my mouse down, now I can drag it wherever I want. Well, I want it right there. So that's it. So I don't have to really rewrite the formula. I could just do that. Okay. So there is our total. So now the plain and the peanut gets a little bit more complex. So let's try to work out some of those. Okay. So I did this little trick before with this if and this left and right, and it was fun, but it's like a little bit harder to do that. To this case, right? To do we're going to do what we call an average if, and it's a little bit harder to do what we just did with the left and stuff like that. So instead, I'm actually going to just go ahead and copy this peanut yellow bag right there. It's going to have to look exactly the same, and then we'll find something that's plain and put it over here too. Right, so instead of plain, we'll say a plain brown bag, peanut yellow bag. All right, here we go. So we're going to use this average if statement. And this has three criteria. So a range, criteria, and then what you actually want averaged. So this range and criteria is the if part of it. So first you want to say, well, I want you to go and look through this part right here. All right, Control Shift down, hit F4. I want that to lock in. The criteria is just this cell right here, this plain brown bag. So this is sort of an if statement. It's saying, look in here. That's the range. The criteria is it's just got to equal whatever's in there. Right? And then if it does equal in there, what do you want me to average? Well, I want you to average this first time the number of M&Ms. Right there. So Control Shift down. So I'm going to hit F4, but I'm going to hit it again because I think it's okay for it to move over in columns, but I don't want it to move up and down. Right? So that means I don't care if there are dollar signs in front of the columns. I just want the dollar signs in front of the numbers. Right? I don't want it to move this way, but I want it to move this way. It's okay to move this way. So that's why I'm going to hit $sign twice. Sorry, F4 twice. So remember, if I keep hitting F4, it sort of cycles through. F4 twice, I get just the dollar signs in front of the numbers, right? And then I can make sure that I can paste it down, and it won't move down, but I can paste it over, and it will paste over, which is what I want. And that's it. So hit Enter. All right, so let's hit copy and paste that guy down. All right, so the number of M&Ms so far, we say the average for plain is 56. The average for peanut is only 19.36. Kind of what we'd expect. Plain M&Ms are much smaller, so there's much more of them in there. So let's look at the weight of bags. So we should be able to just paste this over. Uh-oh, didn't work. Let's see what we did wrong. So that looks good. That looks good. Oh, I know what we did wrong. Yeah, see this one right here? We didn't lock that one in. So let's do F2. So this Q6, let's see, if we highlight in there, hit F4. Again, we don't want to hit it F4. We want to be able to move down. We want it to go look for the plane and then look at the peanut. But I don't want it to move over. So in this case, I want actually the dollar sign in front of the Q, in front of the column identifier, right? Instead of the row identifier. So hit Enter there. Copy, paste those two. They should be the same. Now, I should be able to do that. Perfect. All right, good. So the weight for plain M&Ms, 56 grams or ounces. What are we doing? Grams. And 51 grams for peanut. So let's look at this expected minus actual. So let's do it one more time. So remember, this is actually not right. This is looking at like the blue or something. Hit F2. So you highlight it. Now this guy, we can drag him over and say, well, actually I want this set of numbers right there. Hit Enter. Copy. Paste. All right, what do we got here? So this is goofy. So we have a negative expected minus an average that's negative for plain and then positive for peanut. So we're going to talk about this in class. This seems kind of not right. So we're going to have to look into that a little bit more. All right, so that's first part of this video. We're going to do the exact same thing in 1 second using a pivot tables, but that's all for this one.